இது போட்டு பாம்ப்ளெட் போட்டு கொடுக்க போறாரு.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we start? So before I could just take up, say, let me just recall the same batch only we are having. I could see Rahul, Sriram, his video is not there, Neha there, Anuj, and Sunil Mittal. Right. So now let's just start the session. Yes. So please keep your audio in mute position unless it is very much required to get your doubts clarified. Okay. Fixed income, securities. See, this is a title that they have provided in our valuation course. It has got other title also. In corporate finance, we call that as bond valuation. Correct. See, bond valuation, you people would have studied in SFM. A little long time back. We need to remember the basics. So let me just discuss something about bond, and there are some 7-8 areas that we have. Within these 2 hours, we should be in a position to cover it up. So the moment when we say as bond, I hope that I am audible. Can I just proceed? Right. Okay. Say bond and debenture or C. Say in debenture you have interest warrant or interest. Here in bond you have this as coupon. In debenture you have term. Here also you have a term. But thing is that the bond is being traded in the market. What is it? Is a traded security. Say we don't call this as share market, we call that as securities market. So as to mean that not only shares they transact, even bonds are also transacted. They are bought and sold. Say when bond can be bought and sold, it should have a price. Right? It should have a price. So how the price for a bond is determined? How it is determined? What are the factors that what are the factors influencing the price of the bond? Any idea?
Interest on that.
Who is that? Say, I think your network is not clear, or maybe my network is not clear. I'm not hearing you properly. So what is deciding the bond price is the market rate of interest. which we call it out as yield rate, which we call this as yield rate or yield, right? Let us take up an example. Our face value of the bond is 10,000.
bond carrying and the risks in which the bond has been invested.
Coupon rate is say 10%. Term, let us assume as 4 years. And yield is say 9%. Right. Now, let us know as how we arrive at the price of the bond. So here 1-4 and 4. And where the cash flows are, where the coupon rate is 10% should be applied on 10,000. 1,000 rupees will be the cash flow for each one of those years, assuming that periodicity is annual coupon. So we do have semi-annual coupon also. So, but at the introductory level, I am picking it up as annual coupon. So where it is 1,000. And unless otherwise stated, normally the face value will be the redemption value. So now let us just take up, for the sake of computation, annuity factor or PV factor as the case may be, at the rate of 9%. And the discounted cash flow, some of that is going to be the price. So one can tell that price of the bond is simply the sum of present value of cash flows. Simply, you can say that the price of the bond is influenced by the only one variable factor, that being the present value factor, that being the yield rate. Because face value is committed, coupon rate is committed, term is committed, and periodicity is also committed. The only factor that would be influencing the price of the coupon is the PV factor, that being the yield. So now let us just understand. See, we would have studied, we would have forgotten, or we would be practicing it. You may be knowing better than me, but yet for this particular 2 hours, whatever that is required for this valuation, I will be communicating. So when the yield rate is less than coupon rate, the price is expected to be greater than the face value. What is that? When yield rate is less than coupon rate, the price is expected to be greater than the face value. When yield is greater than coupon value, the price is expected to be less than face value. Then another question people would be asking, if yield rate is equivalent to coupon rate, the price of the bond will be equivalent to face value. So on this count, there can be some objective type question. They may be asking by giving you the yield rate and the coupon rate, you will be asked to comment. So this is the first basic principle or first basic concept that we have to work. Now I will take the calculator and prove it. Okay, one moment, I will just take from my table. One divided by 1.09, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I find that here it is 0.7084. The sum of that comes to 3.2397. So 1000 multiplied by 3.2397 should give you 3,240. 10,000 multiplied by 0.7084. Grand total, what you get is 10,324. Now you find the yield rate is 9%, which is less than coupon rate of 10%. Price is 10,324, which is greater than the face value, that being 10,000. And rest of the matter, you can work it out by taking up the rate at 11% and check up. That is likely to be less than 10,000. Why likely to be? It will be less than 10,000. When the coupon rate and yield rate are same, then the price of the bond will be face value 10,000. This is what we call it as a plain vanilla bond. Plain vanilla bond. Just got no extra features. You don't have any extra features. So you whatever sum that you collect, that is a sum that you will be paying off. And you have a term 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, as the case may be, depending upon the requirement of the entity. So this is what I score now as concept number 1. Then next one is concept number 2. We will normally be using this term quite frequently. Yield to maturity. Before I could tell something about yield to maturity, let me find out from you what do you understand from yield to maturity. Because based on this, there are a lot of computations are involved. May you know what do you understand from the term yield to maturity? Now you can unmute and then answer to my question. Rahul, Sunil, Sriram, Anuj, Neha. Anybody can take up. What do you understand from the term yield to maturity?
Sir, at the time of maturity, what yield the bond is fetching is actually the yield to maturity.
Can you make it a little simpler? I can understand, no problem, but a little simpler. Little simpler.
So when the bond will mature at that date, what is the present value that we are getting?
Okay. But simply, even this much of explanation is not required if it were to be simple. Okay. Any other person? Rahul, try. Good. Others? Neha? Sunil, Anuj, Sriram. See, I was only wondering that this is so simple a topic. When they asked, I was just a little hesitant. So, is there anything new that I got to teach? So, this is at an intermediate level. I was just hesitant to take it out. Sudhanshu. So, what do you understand from yield to maturity? Okay. So, nobody is willing to share their knowledge there. That is the way I take. I will not consider that you do not know. So, what Rahul had just conveyed was correct. But I was expecting a simpler answer. So, yield to maturity is nothing but IRR. Rahul, this is what I was just expecting. So, if you could have conveyed this as IRR, we don't have to just do a very big explanation. Now, I assume that you people know something about IRR. Okay, so on this count, you people should not be keeping quiet. So I want overwhelming response. Tell me what you understand from IRR. So you're all chartered accountant, cost accountants, and company secretaries and working professionals. So you can't say, sir, I do not know IRR. Tell me what you understand from IRR.
Present value equal to 0.
What present value is 0?
Net present
NPV is
value.
equal to
Net
NPV
present
is
value
equal to
is
0.
0.
okay. Okay. See, I would only put it like this way. That is a property of IRR. say is something like this. Don't think that I'm making fun. If somebody were to be asked something about to write something about cat, cat, student is just telling me out. The teacher cannot say it is wrong, but at the same time cannot accept us correct fully. So meow is not wrong, but at the same time meow is not correct fully. So that way, when you say NPV is equal to 0 is only a property. So now I will tell you from the way in which I just look into the subject matter, or there is a basic thing. IRR is nothing but a maximum cost of capital that a project can absorb. If you discount at a rate greater than IRR, you will definitely end up with negative NPV. That is only a property. So if you discount the project with a cost of capital less than IRR, then you take it up as a positive NPV. So therefore, these are all only properties. So what is that we can tell about IRR? IRR is the maximum cost of capital the project can absorb. Still, the project will not be rejected. So therefore, I consider in this particular case, in the case of capital budgeting programs, we call that as IRR. In the case of bond, we don't call that as IRR, we call that as yield to maturity. It is the same object or the same subject which has got different names in different regions. So for example, water in Delhi, they call it out as Pani. In Chennai, this is called as Tanni. So the object is remaining the same, which is called by different names. So they are all exactly 100%. If you take up 113 fair valuation measurement, I would just say this will come under level 1. So please just understand that yield to maturity and IRR are one and the same. Okay. So firstly, we have to believe on to this particular basic thing. Anyway, see, it's all learning process. Whatever we have learned, we would have forgotten. Now we are just bringing them to our forefront. How this yield to maturity that we are going to compute? Because there could be a lot of case studies based on yield to maturity. Yield to maturity also we are expected to compute. So yield to maturity, there are two different formula we have. One is shortcut formula where the answer will be approximate, and there could be another cumbersome computation that we have that will give you accurate answer. Here, unless we practice ourselves to the basic computations, we will not be in a position to take to the next stage where yield to maturity will be the input for further computations. Yield to maturity is nothing but coupon after tax plus redemption value minus issue price divided by n, the whole divided by issue price plus redemption value divided by 2. Correct? So we know RV stands for redemption value. IP stands for issue price. N stands for the term. And this is 2. This 2 is standing for the purpose of finding out the average price.
Average.
Even we can understand it in this fashion. If I have borrowed money, I will pay interest. And when we borrow in the form of bond, there can be promise a company could have made that they will be repaying the money with premium. So the redemption value, if it were to be greater than the issue price, the difference between the two will be amortized over the term of the bond. So the cost of the bond is not the coupon alone, but also the amortization that we carry out. The whole divided by, what is the sanctity of having the denominator factor as issue price plus redemption value divided by 2? This is nothing but the average price. So the numerator is indicating the cost and the denominator is indicating the price. And quite naturally, you can link the numerator and the denominator so as to find out the cost of capital for the company and that is what we are calling it out as yield to maturity. This is an approximate way of finding out the answer. And when is that we will be using this approximate way? If yield to maturity is the end of the question, that is, if yield to maturity is the one that they are seeking, this formula is being used. But if yield to maturity is used for furtherance in order to find out something else, then we expect the yield to maturity to be more accurate than being approximate. So where is it we do have this usage? We do have in furtherance in this particular topic. Say it may be a little, what should I say, challenging for me to tell where it is going to come. So therefore, the other one is yield to maturity, like the one done in capital budgeting. What do you mean by that? We will have this interpolation. What do you mean by interpolation? We will take up at random one cost of capital, arrive at the net present value if it were to be positive. Then we will increase the PV factor, that is, the cost of capital rate, and in such a fashion that the end result is coming to a negative value. And we would say that the property of IRR, where the NPV to be 0, we will interpolate and thereby we will be finding out. When you take up an interpolation, care should be taken that the number or the cost of capital that you take up should be having a very thin margin. So if it were to be 16.75 as a yield rate or yield to maturity, so one should take 16% and 17%, and once the difference is only 1%, accuracy level will be very high. If you take up 10% and 20% as the base, then there will be interpolation in which approximation will be there. Instead of coming to 16.65, it might come to 16.84 or 16.46, something like that. So it is always better that we come closer and then try. So in fact, I would just say when so much of technology was there, when Osama bin Laden was to be bombed, they have just gone exactly to his terrace and they bombed him. So it is not that from a long distance they have just done that. So therefore, you understand that accuracy level we would like to maintain. After all, we are doing for our own life. So therefore, we should always be keeping the difference between the cost of capital taken, one with positive, the other one with negative, as low as possible, the margin. It should be 1%. Please try that, and that is the way we can arrive at. So this is what we do have in the case of concept number 2. In concept number 2, we will take up a problem. So though I'm not giving a material, it is all a very, very simple exercise only that we have. So now I will give you a simple exercise. Simple exercise. Whatever I just use it for my CA final class, that I will be giving it to you. Okay. This is concept number 2, example number 2. The market value of rupees 1000 par value bond. 1000 par value bond carrying coupon rate of 12% and maturing 7 years is rupees 750. What is yield to maturity? That's all. So since yield to maturity is the only item that they are asking, I would like you people to use this formula and get the number. I will just give you 2 minutes for you. Please take the calculator, have in your notebook, and use this formula and get me the number. 2 minutes only. I wait for 2 minutes. Please try. Let me read for you the market value of ₹1,000, par value bond carrying coupon rate of 12% and maturing 7 years, comma, yes, ₹750. What is yield to maturity? So I conveyed to you what is redemption value, what is issue price, what is the term. And I also conveyed the logic as how the formula got developed. And interest is taken up for taxation. And therefore, the net effect is that for issuing company is going to be on after tax basis. And that is why we have taken up this problem. Did not carry any tax information. So therefore, you can take up 12% on ₹1,000, 120 as coupon after taxation. So redemption value and issue price should be that of your finding. And the term is known to us as 7 years. And in the denominator, we are going to have issue price plus redemption value divided by 2. And get me the yield to maturity. Only 2 minutes time I will provide. Come on, please get me the number, please.
5.45.
One moment. One moment.
Nah?
What's the number, please?
5.45.
5.45. 5.45. Who said that? Who gave the answer? Is it Sudhanshu or Rahul? Who gave the answer, please?
Anuj, sir.
Anuj. See, Anuj, on what basis you have given, I do not know. But whatever I have given in concept number 1, that should work. What is that?
Okay.
This portion will be operating in all places.
Mhm.
Okay. So now, firstly, we have to understand the question clearly. Which one is the issue price and which one is the redemption value?
Issue price is 750 and redemption value is 1,000.
Issue price is 750, correct. And redemption value is
1,000.
1,000. So 120. So as per the formula, it is 120 plus.
Okay, I took as 12.
So it is 1,000 minus 750 divided by 7. It is 35.71. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So in the denominator factor, it is 875. So 120 plus 35.71, the whole divided by 875.
17.8%.
17.80%. 17.80%. Many people used to get confused that 750 is the redemption value and they might have taken up 1,000 as the issue price. So here English is playing a very big part. So read that line completely. The market value of ₹1,000 par value bond carrying coupon rate of 20% and during 7 years is 750. That means the present value is 750. Okay. And one more way through which you can cross verify is that your answer can never be less than the coupon rate. So when you know that ₹1,000 par value bond is quoted at significantly less than the face value, you can tell for sure that your yield, in this particular case, yield to maturity. This yield to maturity should be significantly greater than the coupon rate. Correct? Have you understood? This is what I told you. Every concept that we learn, you can see it in every problem. There is no exception that you will be having. So this is the way we are expected to find out. So though I conveyed that this 17.8 is correct, but this is not accurate. So if you want accurate answer for this particular question, then we are going to do the way that we normally do it in the case of capital budgeting. What is that we are expected to do? So like how the first problem we have tried, same way 1-7 and 7. So what are the events that we are going to carry out? So coupons and redemption value, where cash flows are 120 and 1000. So since it is 17.8%, I have a gut feeling that the true IRR, that being the yield to maturity, is likely to be greater than 17.8. It could be falling between 18 and 18 is what I judge. So therefore, I would like to try the PV factor or annuity factor at 18%. And now let us just check up. 1 divided by 1.18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So by seventh item, it is coming to 3.3139. And grand total 3.8115. So then what is the price? So it is 120 into 3.8115. That comes to 457.38. And 1000 into 0.3139. That comes to 313.90. The sum of that comes to 771.28. So our target number that we have got to achieve through this computation should be 750. So at 18%, it gives me a price of 771.28. And we should shift our trial, that is our chance, by one more percentage, taking it up at 19%. So 1 divided by 1.19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So by the stroke, it comes to 0.2959. And the sum of all that comes to 3.7057. Now, what is the price? Discounted cash flow. So it is 3.7057 into 120. That comes to 444.68. And then 1000 multiplied by 0.2959. That comes to 295.90. This comes to, the summation comes to 740.58. So it might be closer to 19% only. So now let us just go for interpolation. It is 18 plus 771.28 minus 750 divided by 771.28 minus 740.58. This we would have done at intermediate level into 19 minus 18. This is what I was just referring about. So try to bring it as close as possible. See, normally for intermediate candidates, so what I do is that I draw a diagram like this way. At 18% and at 19%, the value is 771.28 and this being 740.58. So somewhere, I do not know the rate, is going to be 750. So I normally take up, okay, and we would like to try with yellow. This is what I just normally practice. This difference, okay. So now let us just arrive at the value. It is 771.28 minus 740.58. The difference is 30.7 memory plus. And at the top it is 21.28 divided by this comes to 18.69%. So that is what I told you. Approximate answer is 17.8. Accurate answer is 18.69. So people will accept 17.8 itself because we end up with finding out yield to maturity 17.8 is very good. But when yield to maturity is used as an input to find out further findings, then this rate is not going to be correct, because when the input itself is not accurate, how do you expect the output to be accurate? We all know garbage in, garbage out. So when the way that is, when you want a food item to be very good, the flour or the rice or the wheat that you buy should be of high quality, only then the output is going to be nice. Same way, when you want accurate results, then your IRR, that being yield to maturity, should also be accurate. So therefore, wherever you have problems indicating that you are expected to use yield to maturity as a very important input, then don't compromise on your yield to maturity formula. Try only through this interpolation method. And when yield to maturity is the only finding that you have to make, please use approximate approach. So this is a very simple technique that you have to adopt. So don't get confused. Normally students ask these questions are that to use what. So I think it is very clear at this stage. Then concept number 3. What is this concept number 3? We have something called as yield to call. Yield to call, YTC. So before I could say something, let me find out from you as what do you understand from the term yield to call. Please tell me what you understand from yield to call. All of you, unmute and convey your answer as what you understand from yield to call. Why I am doing, let me tell you, it is not the question that I am just trying to test your knowledge. Say, we would have just qualified long time back. We would have forgotten. We have every right to do that. But if all of you have to have some knowledge, from there I will take up to the next stage. So otherwise, or else I will be spending that extra time to convey the basics. Only for that purpose I am just doing. So don't feel in any way that if you are not knowing, you just don't have any sort of fear or shy feeling. So you just tell, sir, I do not know means I do not know. Even in the class when students are just asking something about IDT. So when they are just asking something about a subject which I do not know or which I am not practicing, I would just say, I do not know. Say a student was just asking about RCM. So reverse price mechanism or something like that, I was just telling. So something it was an audit, he was asking a question. I said, I do not know. So don't feel, but don't remain silent. Come on. What do you understand from yield to call? So now Binal also joined. So please let me know what do you understand. Neha, Sunil, Anuj, Rahul, Sudhanshu, Sriram, and Binal. Come on.
So no idea actually. Don't remember.
Yeah, no problem. But you can answer to this question. What do you understand from yield to call?
When you are purchasing a bond, what would be the yield that you are expecting?
Then what do you mean by yield to maturity? That's not correct. Anyway, good try. Good try. How about others? Sunil, Anuj, Sudhanshu. So I understand Binal may not be just fine. She had just joined. How about others?
Sir, I joined at 6 o'clock only. Before that, in fact.
Yeah, okay. I could see only you now. Okay.
Yeah.
Sudhanshu.
Sir, in the money, yield to
Tell. I could hear you. Anyway, please just don't worry. I understand that we have just pretty well forgotten many things. What we have just done.
What we are paying at the time of purchasing.
It's not like that. Say, I will tell you, it's a simple thing only. Say, I have a tenure of 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have 5 years of tenure. I have issued a bond here by year 0. Year number 1, year number 2, year number 3, year number 4, and year number 5. See, by the time when I want money, I just borrowed the money when money market was tight. So I borrowed at the rate of 13%. I am the CFO of the company. But I know very well that this scenario is not going to be the case in the future. See, maybe down the line, 3 years here, I expect that the rate is likely to fall substantially, significantly, say to 8% or 9% as the case may be. If I were to be a CFO where I issued a plain vanilla bond at 13%, then whatever CEO and others will be just thinking of the CFO, didn't he expect that the rate to fall and make those arrangements at the very initial stage to prematurely redeem the bond and thereby avoid 13% high cost of funds and raise another bond to substitute the costly bond and go for say at 9%. So definitely a CFO is expected to foresee that the interest rate might come down, and therefore he should have included in the covenants, that is in the clause with the bond, saying that when interest rate is likely to come down, so we will call the bond, we will redeem the bond before maturity. So in options and all that, we have seen call option and the put option and all that. So here the company will be the holder of the call. They will call the bond holders and they are expected to surrender the bond, and we will be issuing, or we will give away their money. Where do we get the money? We will raise another bond which is considered to be a cheaper or low cost bond. So quite naturally, these companies may not be issuing at a rate greater or lower than the market rate. So these bondholders also would definitely be knowing that in the money market, it is all available at 9%. So strictly speaking, or practically speaking, what will happen is that they will surrender the old bond, which will carry 13%. And in that place, a new bond will be replaced for 9%. So the bondholders, even when they migrate to some other company, they will get the same 9%. So instead of going for an unknown company for 9%, I will continue with the same company. So this particular thing is what we call it as a callable bond. A bond can be redeemed before maturity at the option of the company. We call it as callable bond. Of course, there will always be some premium the company has got to pay because they are breaking the contract from 5 years to say 3 years. So there is a reduction in the term by 2 years. So all the bondholders were taken by surprise. Of course, you have some 3 months or some notice period and all that you do have. But definitely, whenever there is a break in the contract and where a person initiating the break, he has got to compensate the other person. So even in the case of employment also, you have notice time and all that. If I'm not providing the notice time, as an employee, I got to give that money to the employer. If the employer is not liking the employee for some reasons, or variety of reasons, so the employer is saying from tomorrow you don't have to come with me. He has to give the notice period, notice pay in advance, and with that the employee will not be protesting. Same way, you find the company will be paying that extra amount that you call it out as premium. Here again, the formula is going to be the same. So what is that yield to call? So yield to call is going to be coupon after tax plus revised redemption value minus issue price divided by revised term, the whole divided by issue price plus revised redemption value divided by 2. That's it. So it is absolutely the same as that of yield to maturity. Since instead of using it till maturity, you are doing it before maturity. And you don't call it out as yield to maturity because you are not holding it until maturity. You are doing it before that maturity. So absolutely, there is no difference between in the computation on yield to maturity with yield to call. There is no difference at all, except for some change in the terms, and based on that, you are expected to make those changes. Here also it is approximate, and here also you can arrive at accurate rate. Are you clear? So 3 concepts gone. And since the matter is going to be same, I mean the computation is going to be the same, I am not taking up a problem on this particular case. Now let us just take up on to concept number 4. What is it we do have for concept number 4? Concept number 4 is duration and volatility. What is duration and volatility? These are the 2 new terms that we are using. Always this duration and utility, there is volatility, we can arrive at only after finding out yield to maturity. The rest, With yield to maturity alone, we will be in a position to arrive at duration, we will be in a position to arrive at volatility. So for problems where you are expected to find out duration and volatility, yield to maturity should be accurate. So only when it is accurate, your duration and volatility will be accurate. Now, before I could just dwell on to this area of duration and volatility, I would like to find out from you what do you understand from the term duration. Tell me what do you understand from the term duration, and then next volatility. Come on.
Duration, term of the bond.
Term of the bond should always be there in the basic structure of the bond itself. No, why would they give a different name? In fact, the name of this particular duration is not simply duration; it is Macaulay's duration. It is called as Macaulay's duration.
There is some defined interval during the tenure of the bond.
What is that?
Different interval during the tenure of the bond.
No, sorry, but a good try. So, see here, they call it out as Macaulay's duration, and volatility has got another name which we call it out as modified duration. See, when both items are to be referred to as MD, there will be a confusion, no? So, therefore, they have cut down the prefix. Or the first one, Macaulay's duration, they have referred to as duration. And modified duration, they are calling it out as volatility. Okay. Now, others can also try. Binal, Sudhanshu, Anuj, and Neha. So, two of them have just tried. Sriram and Sunil tried something about duration. So, I would like others also to try. Come on.
Duration of the bond to reach YTM.
Once more.
Duration of the bond to reach YTM.
No. Yeah, good try, good try. How about others? How about others? Sudhanshu? Okay. See now, adequate amount of chance also I'm just giving. See, it's not that I'm just taking your opportunity. So definitely, I am taking up this discussion in this fashion. Now, all of you closely follow. See, this duration topic itself can be run for 5 hours, 6 hours and all that. So much we do have. But we will not be taking that much of time. We will take up only, say, maximum 10 minutes to explain what is duration. All of you have a closer, what should you say, following on the lecture. Okay. Now, when yield to maturity is going up, what will be the impact of your price? Please remember concept number 1, that yield to maturity was conveyed as yield rate. Remember that when yield rate is going up, what sort of impact it will cause onto the price? Come on, look at concept number 1. I told you
Price
very
is lower.
clearly.
Market price is lower than the face value.
So instead of telling like that, you can put it like this way. When yield to maturity is going up, price will fall. Price will fall. Do you agree with me? See, whether it is going up or greater than,
Correct, sir.
see, whether it is going greater than face value, lesser than face value, instead of trying it out like that. So I feel like, so you can just take up in this fashion. Do you see my Excel screen? Yes or no?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Now I will stop and then share. Is it okay? Are you seeing?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now I will be demonstrating to you. So say not that great as you people have a lot of industrial experience and do a lot of work on computers. For me, I just learn computer only a bit late. So just watch. Year number 1, 2, 3, 4. Cash flow, I take up the first one, 10%. This plus 10,000. PVF, I took it about 9%. So just what we do in calculator, I'm just doing. That's it. Price. I want to multiply these two with only 2 decimals there. I'm sorry. Okay. 1 moment. Okay. See now, what was the question I asked? If yield rate is going up, what will happen to price? Say from 9%, I am putting it out at 11%. What is happening to the price? Price is falling. Correct. Then, when I am reducing it from 11% to 8%, what is happening to the price? Price goes up. Say now I am keeping this matching with the coupon rate. Just look into the price. It is 9,998.8 should be rounded off to 10,000. Okay. Now, only for demonstrating this, I just taken up this. Now I will stop and I will share my Windows journal. Correct. See now, you people tell me as what will happen to the price when yield to maturity is dropping. What will happen?
Price will increase.
Go up. Okay. Now, whether that when yield is going up, when price is coming down, is it advantageous or disadvantageous? So you tell me the status. If you were to be the holder of the bond, not as the issuer, you are the holder. What will happen to your status? Is it a loss status or a gain status? Is it a gain or loss position? If price of your investment is dropping, is it good or bad?
It is good for holder.
Holder only. I am not talking anything about the issuer. Only from the viewpoint of the holder. Because we are all portfolio managers. So we are just playing on somebody's money. Somebody had just had a trust on your abilities and you are putting your money, their money there. And your earning is also dependent on the returns that you provide for your customers, clients. So think like that, whether the status is the gain status or loss status.
Gain.
When the price is dropping, is it a gain or loss?
Gain, sir.
Who said? Who is saying?
Anuj.
Anuj, you buy a piece of land for 1 crore of rupees. Right? When the price is dropping, is it gain or loss?
But I am thinking of from the point of view of the bond holder.
I'm a bond holder only. There is no difference in our assumption. So what I'm trying to say is that I have bought a bond and yield rate has just gone, and because of that the price is dropping. See, after my purchase of this bond, when the price is dropping, is it a gain or loss?
It is a loss.
It is a
Loss,
loss.
sir.
It is only a loss. Then after our purchases, when the yield rate is coming down, what is happening is that the price is going up. So when the price is going up, what is happening to the status? It becomes a gain. Correct. Understood? Now, what we are understanding is only the relationship between yield and the price and the status based on price. Correct. That is the immediate impact, you can say. Immediate impact is that. Immediate impact is that. But what will happen to the bond, what will happen to the coupons that you would be collecting later? So you have better chance to invest. Don't you feel so? So whatever coupon that I am collecting, definitely I can put in the market, which would definitely be generating greater amount of income than before when the yield to maturity is going up, isn't it? So there will always be two effects that you will be having whenever there is a change in the market rate. So what sort of changes that you can understand? Say number one, if yield is going up, price is coming down, immediately I could see that the price is dropping, which is a loss to me. But don't feel that you are having only loss. There is going to be some gain elsewhere. Where is that I will be getting the gain? So whatever coupon that I get, whatever money that I am just getting by investing in the bond as a holder, this money I got to keep somewhere. And that particular place where I got to keep that money, where I am generating greater amount of income from that. And that is what we call it out as reinvestment. Are you understanding? Say, when I generate income from a project, I get a cash flow. What is it I will be doing with my cash flow? I got to reinvest. If that reinvestment is generating a higher cash flow, is it not an advantage to you? Say yes or no. So latent impact. This is apparent impact, latent. Latent impact is that based on reinvestment opportunity. So latent impact based on reinvestment opportunity, it is going to be gain. Say yes or no. Are you visualizing that? So you need to say yes or no.
Yes.
Say, please just do not have any sort of shy feeling. If you are not understanding it, also please let me know. There are some tools I have. Tools in the sense, I will take some other example to make you understand what is this intermediary cash flows, what is this reinvestment concept and all that. So please just don't worry about that, because as we feel shy in asking, say I just don't have any feeling in two places. One, in a class, I will say, teacher, I do not understand. Please just repeat. That is one place. Another place, when I go to any marriage, party and all that, where it is a feast, I will call the caterer and ask him to serve. I will not feel shy and all that. In these two places, I will never feel shy. So in case you are not understanding anything about this reinvestment opportunity, you get the opportunity now for me to explain. If you feel that you already know, I will skip this. So choice is yours. I will just give you half a minute to think for you. Even if it takes 5-10 minutes extra in our class completion, please just don't worry. Choice is yours. Say, this is going to have a good impact in your learning process. Let me tell you, it is not simply one problem that I solve. Will that be affecting my marks and all that? Just don't think like that. For knowledge purpose also, I will just definitely take it up. But at this moment, I will say these intermediary cash flows that are coming up. Say, imagine that in the second year, when the yield rate is going up, price is going to fall. When you have 5 years available for the total term, the last 3 years on which reinvestment is likely to be the case. So you find that the money that I generate, that being the coupon, when I place it in the market, that is generating greater income than what I initially estimated. So to that extent, I gain in reinvesting because of yield rate going up. And similarly, let us just take up the other case. When yield to maturity is falling, though you get an immediate impact, that being price is going up, but what will happen to your reinvestment opportunity? So reinvestment opportunity, you just find it is loss. It is a loss. So I will give a classic case. Today, I signed one certificate, not for this valuation, but for a different, for visa procurement. A person who approached by April, that point of time his net worth was lesser, but when I converted that into dollars, it was much greater. Today, in the month of June 26, I found greater Indian rupee his parents have just generated as their asset because of some deposits matured and they have reinvested and all that. But what had happened? The dollar expression was lower than what I just given in the month of April. So despite having greater Indian rupee earning, but when dollar was expressed, it was much lesser when compared to what I've done it in the month of April. What was it? What could be the reason? The reason is that exchange rate 74.13 was the rate that was chosen for this. So it is not that gain at all, friends. When you have a gain in one place, there is going to be a loss in another place. Now, coming to this particular point, the point is like this way. There will be a point where the loss may be greater than gain and gain may be greater than loss, or it could be loss may be lesser than the gain and the gain may be lesser than the loss. Correct? So this is going to be the case when you are holding throughout the term. But at duration, what will happen is that at duration, at Macaulay's duration, your loss and the gain will be equivalent. So even if you feel like, sir, I'm just wanting this certificate, sir, I just don't want to learn beyond this. Would mean for you also there is another tool that we have. At capital budgeting, we would have learned something called as payback period. What is that? Payback period. And an advanced version of payback period is discounted payback period. What do you mean by discounted payback period? At a particular term of the total term of the project, we would like to know by what point of time we recover our initial investment. Generally, the payback period should be shorter than the whole term. Correct? Whether it is a payback period or discounted payback period, when you have the cash flows generated in each one of those years, definitely the payback period is expected to be lower than the full term of the capital budgeting. Same way, in the case of bond also, this duration will work similar. It is not identical. Let me tell you, it is not identical, but it is similar to payback period. So duration is expected to be lower than, duration is going to be lower than the term of the bond. You can take it like that. Sir, I just don't want to just go into greater details, sir. I want to use this as a tool for furthering my qualification. So when time is permitting, then I will be learning. If you have that sort of feeling, no problem at all. And I would like to tell you that this duration, Macaulay's duration, is almost similar to that of discounted payback period. So I hope that discounted payback period is much easier for you to perceive than to think about Macaulay's duration. But in the case of capital budgeting, discounted payback period will normally be carried out at cost of capital, but not at IRR. At IRR, we will not be doing at all. Whereas in the case of Macaulay's duration, we will be finding out the duration at yield to maturity. That is a basic difference. So now let me write out that. In capital budgeting, discounted payback period shall be computed based on given cost of capital and not at IRR. In bond valuation, the cash flows will be discounted at yield to maturity, and the similar computation as that of discounted payback shall be referred to as Macaulay's duration. Okay. Are you clear? Now we will take up a problem and we will learn Macaulay's duration and volatility also we will learn. Are you clear? Is that concept clear? So if you could understand discounted payback, we can say Macaulay's duration is similar to discounted payback. The only difference between the two is, in the case of capital budgeting, we carry out this discounted payback based on the given cost of capital, whereas in this particular case, we will be doing it at yield to maturity, accepting that it's all the same. Shall we proceed? Now we will take up a problem, and through the problem, we will be just learning Macaulay's duration and volatility. This is example number, what was the last one that we did? It was example number 2 we did. Now it is example number 3. Example number 3, face value 1000, then coupon rate 16% annually, years to maturity, there is a term 6 years, redemption value also 1000, and price is rupees 964.07. Questions are very simple. What are the questions? Number A, find out yield to maturity. B, duration. C, volatility. Correct. Okay, make note. I will just join in a minute. Now, first part of the question I got to check. So, concept number 1 will continue to rule every problem. So, you compare the face value and the price and decide upon where this yield to maturity would be falling. So, what was the learning that we have made in concept number 1? If yield to maturity is less than the coupon rate, the price is expected to be greater than the face value. But that is not the case in this problem. What has happened? Price is lesser than the face value. Therefore, the yield rate is expected to be greater than the coupon rate. The yield rate should be greater than the coupon rate. This is the first learning that we have made. The first concept, that is what we will be employing. So therefore, what we would consider is, it cannot be less than 16%. It should be greater than 16%. Now, here is a place our experience in the subject will also enable us to quicken our process of identifying yield to maturity, that being faster than others. What is that? There is a thumb rule that we have. What is a thumb rule? Say when the bond duration is in the range of say 4, 5, 6, 7 years, in that range, for 1% change in yield to maturity, which will cause change in the price approximately by 3.5%. What is that? Let me repeat. If the yield rate is changing by 1%, that is 100 basis points, what sort of impact it is likely to cause on the price? If a question is asked like that, you can close your eyes and tell this will have impact approximately by 3.5%. This is a thumb rule. That means you can't prove on one-to-one basis in every case, but in majority of the cases it will be like that. Correct? So, like that, I find the difference between the two is 35 rupees and 93 paisa. If I take that and compare it with the fair value or the issue price, I will get close to 3.5%. So, my gut feeling is that it might be close to 17%. A little less than 17%, a little greater than 17%, or possibly at 17%. So therefore, this basic understanding concept number 1 should come to play. Year number 1-6 and 6. Events are coupons and redemption value. Cash flows are 160 and 1000. TVF or annuity factor taken up at 17%. Why 17%? I have already conveyed to you. Because price is less than the face value, therefore the yield is expected to be greater than the coupon rate. Right? 1 divided by 1.17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0.3898. 3.5892 price. 3.5892 into 160. 574.27. 0.3898 into 1000. 389.80. Total of that comes to 964.07. So our hunch turned out to be true. Our hunch turned out to be true. So I don't have to go for interpolation, nor I use approximation method. Straight away, I just got the number as 964.07. Yield to maturity is 17%. Yield to maturity is 17%. Now the next computation, that being discounted payback, which I just said, which has got to be discounted at 17%, I can use like this way. There are two, or I would just say there are 3 different methods that we have in the process of finding out duration. And all the 3 I will teach you. It is going to take only 2-3 minutes for me because I will be using Excel. Now I would like to try that. Now I hope that all of you just copy this computation now. Shall I proceed for Excel?
We will not do this by the formula that you gave for yield to maturity.
What is that, Rahul?
That coupon after tax plus redemption value minus issue price by N and that formula.
That you don't use. Why one should not be using that formula is a very simple reason. If yield to maturity is the only question that they asked, I could have used that and I would have completed my work. But I am using yield to maturity in further, that is finding out further things, that being duration, volatility. My accuracy level for yield to maturity should be very high, isn't it? See, when I want the further findings to be accurate, my basic input should be accurate, no? So therefore, I should not be choosing the approximate formula. I should give up. Say, I should know when to use and when not to use, isn't it? That is the way, that is the reason as why I have not used that. Agreed. Shall I proceed, Rahul? Right. See, now I will be stopping this Windows journal. I will be trying out through Excel. So, is the Excel that you could see there?
Yes.
Okay. Say now, I would like to use this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cash flows are 160. Next one is 160 plus 1000. PVF at 17%. 1 divided by 1 plus 17% to the power of the year. With 4 decimals, I am just taking up. Price. Now, as I multiply cash flow with PV factor, I want 2 decimals only. Now, until this, it will be very easy for you. You would not have just seen something new until this. Now I'm going to do a different exercise. All of you have a closer look. All of you, please just closely find out as what I'm doing. I will slowly do. Equal to. What I would like to do is how this price 136.75 as a proportion to the total price. Correct. That is the present value of the first year's cash flow to the total price, because everything on present value basis only I have taken up. 136.75 is a present value of future cash flow. Sum of all that comes to 964.07 present value. So both numerator and denominator are of the same time levels. Now I would like to take up with 4 decimal factors. I am rounding it off. So proportion is, for your purposes, I will put it this way: 136.75 divided by 964.07. Next one, 116.88 divided by 964.07. Okay. Likewise, you should easily follow what we are just doing, isn't it? Now, duration. Now I take this price as the weight, correct? Multiply it with the years, by what point of time I recover. So this way, I have multiplied the proportion and the year. Now I would like to sum up. This summation is going to be in terms of years. So let me repeat. Duration is nothing but proportion multiplied by years. Correct? This is nothing but 0.1418 into 1. Next one is 0.1212 multiplied by 2 and so on. Correct? This is the way duration is worked out. So you can say, even though the term is 6 years, the investor will get a feeling that he had recovered the money by 4.2419 years. This is the point of time where your reinvestment risk and your price risk are matching. in the total duration of 6 years, this particular time at which both will match. That is, neither you will be gaining nor you would be losing. Remember that concept that I was just referring about, reinvestment risk and the price risk on account of yield change. If you feel like, sir, I just don't want that to be known at this moment, I am very comfortable with this computation with me. Yes, okay, you can go ahead. Now, we have just got completed Macaulay's duration. Now, let us take up volatility. Volatility formula is duration divided by 1 plus yield to maturity. It is nothing but 4.2419 divided by 1 plus 0.17. That is this divided by 1.17. That means this I would like to put it with 2 decimal only. So this is expressed in percentage. What is a sort of inference that we are going to gather? The inference is a very simple inference that we would be making. What sort of inference? Now I will make a note. In case yield to maturity is changing by 1%, the price of the bond changes inversely on an approximate basis by 3.63%. So this is nothing but cause and effect study. This is what you call it as a sensitivity analysis. This is what you call it as sensitivity analysis. What do you mean by sensitivity analysis? A small change that is being made in one of the factors, what sort of impact it is causing in the output. So that sort of study is what we call it as sensitivity analysis. So here it is nothing but volatility conveys the sensitivity of the price of the bond for a given change in yield to maturity. I will demonstrate to you. Please just make note of this. This is very, very important. This is method number 1. I know that when you are noting down in your notebook or in your system, it will take extra bit of time. I will just wait for you. In case you just completed, one of you please indicate, then I will just take up method number 2. One moment. In case you have completed, please let me know. Now, I would like to say I have copied the sheet, so therefore I want to make those changes. So in case you copy, please let me know.
Sir, it's done.
Done. Okay. So now what I do is that I will eliminate all this. Okay. I will eliminate all this. This is not method number 2 and all that. This is not method number 2. This is about sensitivity to the price. Now, from 17%, I am making it to 18%. Look at my price. So, when yield to maturity is at 17%, the price was 964.07. When it is at 18%, this is at 930.02. When it is at 16%, I don't have to look into the computation because it is going to be 1000 because coupon rate and yield rate are matching. Let me repeat. From 17%, when there is a drop by 1% from 17 to 16, the price of the bond will go up from 964.07 to 1000. What is the difference? The difference is going to be 964 minus 964. Correct? The difference is this. Now, I would like to, in percentage terms, I would like to take it up. This is 0 divided by 964 in terms of percentage. This comes to what? 3.53% and 3.73%. So what did I say here? In case yield to maturities is changing by 1%, the price of the bond changes inversely is what I told. So when there is a drop in the price because of the increase in the yield to maturity, please understand there is an increase in yield to maturity by 1%. But what is the impact it made on the price? Price dropped by 3.53%. Price dropped by 3.53%. When yield to maturity is dropping from 17 to 16, there is an increase in the price by 35 rupees and 93 paisa. That is expressed on the old price of 964.07. That works out to positive 3.73. Correct? Generally, in difference and all that, you should not assign any negative or positive sign. But I wanted to retain that negative and the positive sign because we need to understand at every stage that when bond is dropping, price going up. When the yield is going up, price is dropping. So only for that, the sign I just taken up. Generally, difference will not carry with any positive or negative sign. So now, you can understand what is that we have mentioned. In case yield to maturity is changing by 1%, the price of the bond changes inversely on an approximate basis. I have just conveyed to you as an approximate basis. So if I take up on absolute basis the summation and divide by 2 as an average, you get 3.63% because 3.53% and 3.73%, and you take up that summation, ignoring the sign rate. So when you take an average, it comes to 3.60. That is the reason as why we have just mentioned it as an approximate percentage. So we have just learned what is yield to maturity. We have just learned what is duration. Then you have learned what is volatility. Now I am just taking this calculation back to 17% as it appeared originally. Now, method number 1, I will make it out as method number 2. Correct? Method number 2, where I will not have this many columns. After price, I will be bringing out something called as product. What is that I am going to do? All of you watch. This is the price multiplied by the year. What is that I have done? It is 1 into 136.75. Next, 2 into 116.88. 3 into 99.9. Likewise, I just done. And I would like to take up the sum of the product. Sum of the product. Now, here, duration is how we arrive at. Duration is equal to sum of the product divided by price. Into that, it is 4089.69 divided by 964.06. Just see, same number what we had in the earlier case. Same number. Other sheet that I copied. Here I am just getting. Last two decimal, third and the fourth decimal, there is a small difference. But by and large, the number is the same. Duration is equal to sum of the product divided by the price. So this is method number 2. And the rest of the matter like volatility and all that is going to be same. Volatility is going to be the same. This divided by 1.17. Correct? Are you clear? Say yes or no. Are you clear about this concept? Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
See now, I would like to stop this particular Excel and I want to take up method number 3. In fact, method number 3 would be a little challenging for you because you have to remember the formula. But this much of computation can be avoided. Are you prepared for method number 3?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now I will stop sharing this and I would like to share Windows Journal. Method 3. Method 3 formula, you have to remember that is a little tight only. What to do? We don't have any other go. As what advantage we derive through this formula also I will tell you. Duration is equal to 1 plus y divided by y minus 1 plus y plus t into c minus y divided by c into 1 plus y to the power t minus 1 plus y, where y stands for yield to maturity, c stands for coupon, t stands for term. Correct? Now, this might sound a little odd, and you will have a feeling. See, I've seen in a CA final class, on seeing the formula itself, the face will shrink. I could just sense that. So it should always be like that for you also, no problem at all. But once you know the utility value, then you will start loving this. 1 plus 0.17. Always remember the expression of 17%, 16%, it should be in decimal counts only. 0.17 minus 1 plus 0.17 plus t term 6 into coupon 0.16 is 0.17, the whole divided by coupon 0.16, 1 plus 0.17 to the power 6 minus 1 bigger bracket close plus 0.17. So it might give you the impression that it is tough. Actually it is not so. It's easy only. 1.17 divided by 0.17. which is equal to 6.8824 minus here it is 1.17 plus 6 into 0.01, which is equal to negative 0.06 divided by, so first thing that we will be updating this 1.17 0.4204. This can be taken up as 6.8824 minus 1.17 minus 0.06. That should give you 1.11 divided by 0.4204 divided by 0.4204. So this comes to 6.8824 minus 2.6403 plus 6.8824. That comes to 4.2421 years. Correct? Are you getting? Are you clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Right. See now, what advantage we have? What advantage we derive? So, the average human mind is that when formula is there, it will shun. It will say, I don't want. See, the other two methods I will do. This is what even myself as a student will have that sort of feeling. But let me tell you the advantage of having this. See, the problems that I just solved so far were all annual coupon only. If it have to be semi-annual coupon, that means in a year 2 times coupon, but annual coupon will be divided into 2. If it were to be 12% on 1,000 rupees, where we have found out 120, if it were to be semi-annual, it will be 60 rupees. Every 6 months, 60 rupees. If the term were to be 6 years, then you got to have 6 into 2, 12 terms you got to work. Just imagine that year, that is instead of year number 1 to 6, you have got to put out a term from 1 to 12. Though you will not be doing manually, but always we are ending up with some computation, some human interface will be there. And that human interface will be prone for risk. I mean, computationally, they might go wrong. And they don't give you Excel. They just give you MS, what is that? Spreadsheet only they give. Having worked out an advanced level of Excel and doing things in spreadsheet is going to be a big challenge. So rather, we would definitely be using with some extra care when the yield were to be, say, 17% per annum. So you can work out as 8.5% for every 6 months. And the term, instead of 6 years, you can make it out as 12 terms. And the coupon rate, where it is 12%, here you make it out as 0.06. So everything you can understand back to divided by 2, back to multiply. That's only an application of common sense. So where you have intra-period payments, and when the term is longer, then it becomes easier to use this formula. So if you feel like, sir, I would like to invest that way only, this formula and all that, I may not be in a position to remember. So well and good. I'm just giving you a choice only. It is up to you to take up or drop it. So with that, we have just completed concept number 4. Yield to maturity, duration and volatility. Right? You know. Then we do have something called as forward rate. Concept number 5. Forward rate. Forward rate. So, are you clear until this moment? Say yes or no. Are you clear until this moment?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So now I would like to take to the next. There are 2 more levels that we have before we could conclude by 8 o'clock. And before I could just conclude, we will have one MCQ also. So this will take only 5 minutes. Let us just know about what is forward rate. Before I could say anything about forward rate, I would like you people to tell your views about what do you know about forward rate in bond valuation. What do you mean by forward rate?
I'm entering to a contract to a price which the seller has to sell me, or as a seller I have to sell to the purchaser. It's a fixed contract rate. Coupon rate is fixed.
Okay. But this, what Sriram just conveyed as the meaning for forward rate is the general meaning elsewhere. But unfortunately, forward rate has got a different meaning in this particular topic. I was also, for the first time I was reading as what is forward rate, I was just only thinking like that. Actually, it's not so. It has got a special meaning. What is a special meaning for forward rate? Now I will tell you what is forward rate through an example. So when I have a banker is giving me a quote, what the banker would just give deposit rate for year number 1. If it were to be deposit rate were to be 6%, and year number 2 they are giving it at 7%. I'm just taking random example only. It may be matching or it may not be matching. 1 year deposit is 6%, 2 years deposit is 7%. So, what is the yield for the second year? What is the rate at which deposit is generating for the second year? If a question is asked, supposing you are all practicing CA, you have an assistant who had just come from foundation stream is asking this question. Sir, one first year, if you deposit, if you keep for 1 year, it is 6%. If you keep it for 2 years, it is 7%. Correct? He is asking the question, sir, what is the rate of earning in year number 2? Is a question that they are asking. What will be your answer? What will be the rate of earning in second year? Come on. I have asked a simple question. I have not used any technical term. I am not telling what is forward rate and all that. I am asking a simple question. Deposit rate for 1 year deposit 6%, and for 2 years deposit it is 7%.
6.5.
So I will take up my deposit as 1 lakh. What is my yield for the second year? Is a
6.5.
question. How much?
6.5.
6.5. How it could be 6.5? How it could be 6.5? It's not 6.5. Now I will put it this way. So how we handle the scenario is that it's a simple one only. Maturity value at year number 1 could be 1,06,000. Correct? If it were to be 7% on a there is where you have yearly rest. Just for the sake of simplicity, yearly rest. What do you mean by yearly rest? 1 lakh into 1.07 into 1.07. So it will be 1,14,490. Correct? How did I get this? Future value formula, which is equal to present value into 1 plus r to the power n. 1 lakh into 1 plus 0.06 to the power 1. Here it is 1 lakh into 1 plus 0.07 to the power 2. Correct? Agree? You are about to say yes or no? Are you understanding?
So it is the
Yes.
same bond or a different bond?
See, it's not bond I am talking about. I am a depositor. I go to a banker. Banker is saying if I deposit for that is for 1 year, I will be provided with 6%. What is the maturity value? I get by year number 1, 1,06,000. If I keep the money for 2 years, the rate is 7%. Yearly rest. So yearly rest would mean every 1 year only they calculate interest. So this is the way we have just learned in high school, no? So teacher will ask what is the maturity value? 7% for 2 years. Do you agree with me? Is there any difficult moments for you to understand in this case? Am I teaching something different? It's a very simple calculation only. Agreed or what? Now, the question is that what is my earning in the second year? What is my earning in the second year? It is 8,490. Correct? What is my yield in the second year? My yield in the second year should be greater than 7%. Isn't it? Say yes or no? Yes or no? It should be 8,490 divided by 1 lakh, and thereby I would just say in the second year alone I just earned 8.5% approximately. Correct? Now, the concept of forward is not this. I'm just giving you an example and we will proceed to the next level. Are you clear about this one? Now, for similar bonds where our maturity period 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year and all that, where yield to maturity changes. For similar bonds, yield to maturity when it is 9%, when it is 10%, when it is 11.25%, and when it is 12.50%. Okay. So they will be asking the question, what is the forward rate? They will be asking, what is the forward rate? Forward rate has got a different utility value, like how we have learned from yield to maturity, something on duration and then to volatility. This forward rate has got a different utility values. So we are at the very preliminary stage. So we will come to know once we start using it in our practical cases. Forward rate for the first year is going to be same 9% only. It will be the same. So if I were to get one forward rate here, so taking into consideration the forward rate for year number 1 and forward rate of year number 2, I will be getting this yield to maturity. Therefore, we can conclude that forward rate is a component of yield to maturity. If I got to have a chain made up by way of many rings, I am making chain, correct? So many rings will make one chain. Similarly, so many flowers will make one garland. Same way, so many forward rates will make up one yield to maturity. That we have got to firstly understand. What is that? Forward rate is nothing but a component of yield to maturity. Say this 10% is the average of the forward rate of year number 1 and year number 2. Similarly, this yield to maturity that I'm getting at 11.25% is the average of these three forward rates. So therefore, what is the conclusion that we would be making for forward rate? Forward rate is a component of yield to maturity. What is that? Forward rate is a component of yield to maturity. What Sriram was just telling as forward contract, a rate decided now for a future delivery to be made. Whether the underlying asset is a commodity, whether the underlying asset is a currency, whether the underlying asset is a security or share, whatever it may be, that we call it out as forward contract. Forward rate is nothing but a component of yield to maturity, for which we do have a formula. Forward rate of year number 2 is equal to 1 plus yield to maturity of year number 2 to the power 2 divided by 1 plus yield to maturity of year number 1 to the power 1 minus 1. Right? Therefore, forward rate of year number n is equal to 1 plus yield to maturity of nth year to the power n divided by 1 plus yield to maturity of n minus 1 to the power n minus 1 minus 1. That's it. So when you see firstly the number, that will give you confidence. Then I have introduced the formula. This gives you a lot of confidence. Okay. So these numbers are to be worked out based on this formula. So that is the reason as why I told you for the first one it is going to be 9%. So 9% plus 11% divided by 2 is going to be 10%. So therefore I would say it is 11%. So if you work out that, you will be getting that. No big deal. That you please keep in your notebook. Shall I proceed with one last concept before I could take up that for your MCQ? That being zero coupon bond. Okay. This we can work out. So it is 1 plus 0.10 to the power 2 divided by 1 plus 0.09 to the power 1 minus 1. How much it comes to? .1 to the 2 divided by 1.09 minus 1. So it is not exactly 11, it is 11.01%. So that approximation is always there. Next. This is for year 2. For year number 3, it is going to be forward rate for year 3 is going to be 1 plus 0.1125 to the power 3 divided by 1 plus 0.10 to the power 2 minus 1. 1.125. Sorry. 1125 into 1.1125. Say I just lost computation. What is the percentage?
So,
Yeah.
so I might not be able to attend because there is power outage and I have 2 kids who are crying. I'll keep my video off. Yeah.
This comes to 1.37689 divided by 1.21 divided by 1.21 minus 1. That comes to 13.79% and so on. That's the way you got to compute. Is that clear? Now, getting back to the last concept. Concept number 6. Am I right? Yes, concept number 6 is all about zero coupon bond. What do you understand from zero coupon bond? Please let me know what do you understand from zero coupon bond.
Issued at discount, redeem at par.
Correct. Correct. So you can say it carries zero coupon or no coupon. It is issued at discount and redeemed at par or premium. Correct. Next one is that duration of zero coupon bond is equal to term of the bond. Is equal to term of the bond. How come? There is no intermittent cash flows company would be providing. They provide only at the end. So imagine that Excel table that we have just developed. Now I will show you that Excel table. In this Excel table, when the cash flows are going to be zero and all that money, maturity money is coming up here. And whatever may be the PV factor that you have, so that redemption value to be multiplied with this will give you the price, and the proportion when you work out, you will get this total and this number is going to be the same. And therefore, when you work out the duration will be exactly 6 years. So since you do not have this, since you do not have the intermittent coupons, zero coupon bond will always be having the duration equivalent to the term of the bond. This is very, very important. Correct? So all that concept of fixed interest securities getting over. Now, it will be incomplete when we do not carry the session without an MCQ. Maybe 1 or 2 we can try. Okay. One moment, I'm just almost I got it. Now I will share the screen. Are you seeing the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Right. Question could be asked like this way. A 10% semi-annual bond with a yield of 12% and 10 years term has a price equal to 1051.65, 1159.88, 885.30, and 888.89. How do we answer for this question? Now, one question for which I will answer, the rest I will share this particular PPT to your RBF. You can pick it up from there. Maybe today, if I'm not doing, tomorrow I will do. Okay. So now, how do we take up the case? It is semi-annual and it is 10 years. And yield rate is 12% with coupon being 10. So I would like to put it like this way, term. Instead of 10, I will put it out as 20. because semi-annual would mean 10 years would mean 20 half-yearly payments I got to make. 20th term, cash flow. 10% on, say, 1,000 rupees bond. They are not giving you the face value. By looking at the price, we should only be guessing that the face value could be 1,000. 1,000 into 10, 100 rupees, but it is half-yearly, so 50. And when nothing is given, redemption value and face value will be the same. And it is 1,000. PVF or annuity factor, when you say as 12% per annum, so here I got to make it out as 6%. So we are expected to use the calculator or the PVF table. Now let us just do it for 20 times. It is going to be a little tight for us to, so we have to be very careful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. When I do that, 20th time, it is 0.3118. When you take up the GT, it comes to 11.4699. Now let us multiply these two. So it is 50 into 11.4699. That comes to 573.50, and 1,000 multiplied by 0.3118. 311.80. Then total is 885.30. So therefore, the answer is going to be C. So now let us just push this. Yes. That is the answer. So likewise, all this would be involving a little bit of computation, little bit of basic understanding. As you practice, you will find it very, very easy to crack it. So with that, our 2 hours of time is getting over. All the 6 concepts we have just learned. And we have also tried one MCQ with the time that is made available. And in case of any doubt, you do have my contact. Any doubt you can just ask, you can mail me, no problem at all. And I will share this with your RVF, and you can just get this PPT and maybe the notes and the Excel. I think I can just share. That should not be a problem. Okay. So with that, we'll just put an end for this session. All the very best for you. In case of any doubt, you can just ask now and later also. Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.